Hi, my name is Andrew Clancy, and I would be honored if I could represent you, the residents of Monroe and Middlesex Townships, on the Cumberland Valley School Board. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I moved down to central Pennsylvania about 35 years ago, lived in Mechanicsburg for a number of years, got married to my wife Michelle in 1993, and in 1994 I quit my job as a police officer to go back to school full-time to get my engineering degree. Since 1996, I've been working in the engineering field. I started with a firm down in York who designed primarily school and government buildings. I was responsible for air conditioning, plumbing, and fire protection design. And then I moved on to an equipment manufacturer down in York that specializes in making air conditioning equipment for commercial facilities. I've been a licensed engineer in Pennsylvania since 2001 and have worked for the company I'm at now for the last 23 years. I've been privileged to have two sons attend Cumberland Valley High School and graduate from Cumberland Valley High School. I never really got involved with the school board until COVID hit. It was March of 2020 when schools came to a screeching halt. I was concerned about the continuity of education for my younger son, who was a sophomore at the time, and started to attend school board meetings. I was not very happy with what I saw. That year, they basically shut school down. The following year, they basically shut school down as well. Our students were going 2 mornings, they had Wednesday off, and then they had 2 afternoons online. So my son was taking several AP science classes. My problem with that was they had no science labs. Our students were getting basically 2 days of education a week. We went with a number of other parents in front of the school board time and time and time again. And we're basically told, well, that's the best we can do. Well, I don't think that was the best we could do. We are suffering right now from a tremendous learning deficit that was brought on by the actions that took place during the COVID pandemic. Many of the elementary schools, as far as I'm aware, were open 5 days a week. My understanding is that the middle school, and I know that the high school was closed except for those 2 mornings a week. The day that they had on Wednesday, the asynchronous day, was really just a day off for everybody. It was a very poorly run situation that we owe our students to do better for that. Our students now are suffering from what happened during COVID. My thoughts for what happens in the Cumberland Valley School District is we need to prepare our students in one of 3 ways. One of those ways is when they graduate Cumberland Valley High School, they are prepared with the knowledge they need to continue their education into the future. That may be by going to a trade or a technical school, or maybe going on through a college program, 4-year college program. The other way we can potentially train our students is so that they can graduate high school and get a job in a vocation that will turn into a family supporting job down the road. Our VOTEC program is excellent. We need to continue to encourage students to go through that program if that's the right fit for them. And the third thing I think is a potential outcome, or where we should be focusing our energies to prepare our students, is to join the military. Military service is an honorable profession. It's something we depend on, and it's something where our students can serve their country with the host of opportunities that are available to them. But they need to be prepared, leaving high school, to be able to go into the military and be able to serve and pass the entrance requirements that are there. One other area that I feel very strongly about is safety of our students in the schools. We hear oftentimes about, intruders coming in. We hear some awful situations that happen across the country. I think we are well prepared to defend against that. We have a police department We have school security officers in every building. I think our physical security of our buildings is prepared quite well also. When I talk about safety, though, it's not just about that. We hear a lot about bullying in school. Personally, bullying to me is not just something that, oh, kids will be kids and that's what they'll do. To me, bullying falls into one of two categories. It's either harassment or it's assault. We need to treat those situations appropriately to end this scourge on what's happening in some instances in our schools. It's not necessarily pervasive, but it's something we need to address. I also want to be able to give teachers the tools that they need to educate our children appropriately. I talked a little bit before about the deficit, the learning deficit that came along with the COVID shutdown. We need to get those kids back up to where they need to be. We need to get their test scores back up to where they were before the pandemic, and we need to continue on an upward trajectory. And the last area that I feel very strongly about is our taxpayer. We need to protect the taxpayer. Most of the people that live in the Cumberland Valley School District don't have children in the school. We need to protect those folks who have put children through the school, who may be retired, who may be living on fixed incomes, by controlling tax increases and spending our money wisely. That money that we're spending is not the school's money. That money we're spending belongs to every single taxpayer. And I feel very strongly that the primary use of that funding has to be the education of our students. Granted, we need facilities, we need sports, we need teachers, we have to pay salaries and benefits, and there are a host of other things that come along with that. But we need to make sure that when we raise taxes on our residents, that we're doing that so that we can appropriately use that money to educate, to further educate our students. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope to have your support in the upcoming primary in May and the general election in November. Thank you.